You clicked this video because you wanted to see, can you actually make $1,000 a month through DeFi yield farming? And that's exactly what I'm going to break down to you today. Most people jump into yield farming without a plan and in turn never get consistent income. But I'm going to show you this 12-month strategy that's going to allow you to build up into this position to earn yourself potentially $1,000 a month through passive income. So as you can see here, I've pretty much mapped out a few different things. And what I really want to focus on first here is the beginning. The key thing here, our goal is obviously we want $1,000 a month. The why? It could be for you, for everyone is different. Let's put down pay the bills, extra income. Who doesn't want to pay the bills? Who doesn't want extra income, I suppose? And it's an opportunity here for definite. The how is we're going to do this all through yield farming. And as I said, this is not something that should be a minefield for people. And I think personally the biggest problem is people not 100% sure how to get set up and how to get started. And I think this is where hopefully these videos can provide some sort of value for you. So with that, obviously our goal is to reach $1,000 a month. And if we scroll over here, you can see general breakdown of this. We're assuming we're starting with $5,000. Again, for some I know it's a lot, for others it's not a lot, but I just need to kind of start with some sort of an amount here instead of it being the norm, what you often see, 100,000, 200,000 in capital. It's going to be easy enough to earn income from it. Realistically, most people only have a couple of thousand maybe potentially to put into these, and this is where it's breaking it down for you. So you can see here I have it here set up. 80% APR with 5,000 invested is going to get you around 11,000 at the end of the year, 12,000, and then obviously 13,000. Now the key thing here to remember is these rates are going to vary massively. The key thing obviously again is just to make sure you have an idea and some sort of plan in place. So with that, we have the varying amounts here. So 80% APR is going to give us $741 a month. 90% APR is $921, and then obviously 1,000 is going to give us $1,100, which obviously crosses our target. Now, is it doable? Yes, it is. I wouldn't be showing you if it wasn't doable. If it was something risky, extremely unrealistic to reach, I wouldn't be doing it. All you have to search is yield farming, and you're going to see people that are actively making money in crypto and DeFi yield farming, and it is the way to kind of go forward with things. So with that in mind, we come over here, and pretty much as part of the why. So for most people here, I think what tends to happen is you may see figures, but you don't know really how they're going to implement into your overall day-to-day living, I suppose. And I just tried to break down this the best I could here. And obviously on the lower APR, 60% APR, if you're earning roughly $455 a month, potentially pays for electricity and gas, broadband internet, streaming services, Netflix, Disney, Spotify, whatever, mobile phone plan. And again, it covers the basic utilities, internet, entertainment, and phone bills. Now, if you're in a position that you can get your money to work for you and pay for this, and literally pay for everything of that, it's going to open up doors, I think, for everyone for definite. Second option here is we get a higher APR. You're going to pay groceries for the family, partial for the month, obviously, car insurance, our fuel budget, internet and streaming again, groceries, car expenses, subscriptions, and obviously up here at 80% APR. It's obviously the entire grocery, utilities, broadband, mobile, and obviously anything else that you can think of there. I think the key thing here is to understand of what it can be actually used for and how it can potentially very quickly adapt and change to what you're wanting to do, provided you have the plan built out in place, I suppose, is the key thing here. So the next big thing is, how are we going to do this? How is someone going to turn potentially $5,000 into $1,000 per month within 12 months? Well, there's two paths here I have at this moment in time. We have obviously to the left is to the yield farm, and to the right is to the knowledge. That's pretty much where I started the entire group, with the purpose of giving people as much knowledge and information as they can. And there's a reason why I kept it super cheap, is because I needed to obviously make sure I pay for the group. But that is pretty much it. And as I said, I'm trying to provide as much value as I can within that to eventually reach us to these goals of $1,000 a month in crypto. So on top of that is pretty much over here. We're going to enter into a yield farming position. It can be a simple enough position up here. With that, 100% of it is compounded in, and again, it just built back in. So it's going to just pretty much compound itself in. Now, I do advocate for people when they're getting into DeFi and yield farming, is you need to obviously have different plans, different strategies built out, and never go 100% into one token. Now, for just simplicity of doing this, I have it set here, but you could have 3 or 4 different positions open, and all the rewards are being compounded and growing your overall position. Now, the next thing I suppose to look at is, where do you get these yields? Now, as I mentioned in hundreds of different videos I've talked about, straight off the bat here, you can look at VFAT. We have wrapped ETH USDC. This is a 40% within the range. Again, this is a huge range. And the key thing here to see is 132%. That's already well above what our target was over here. And even at that, that's going to set you up in a position within 12 months, you're going to be potentially earning that. Again, you have to be cautious of rates, the way they change. But again, having a top-down view of pretty much what your goals are and where you're going with things is much better than just throwing money into a position and be like, oh, this is earning me 50 euros a day, 60 euros at this moment in time. You could potentially build out to get to them goals, to pay the likes of these bills, or just have some sort of goal in place. You may decide you just wanted extra income for yourself. Again, opportunities there. So as I said, there's a 40% range width. If you're not familiar with that, it's pretty much, it's how wide your liquidity pool is, and pretty much if you go out of that, the lower side, you don't earn. You go out to the upside, you don't earn. Obviously, there's loss involved there as well for an impermanent loss, which is a whole nother topic that I've covered in different videos. I'll try and link it somewhere here in the description maybe. But as I said, is again just having some sort of plan in place for it. We can also jump over to the likes of PancakeSwap, another platform that offers some decent enough yields as well. Now, obviously, all the talk at the moment is this token here, Aster. But I'm not saying you would go into this position, but again, this is what people tend to do. Normally is you see this, it's all over Twitter, it's all over YouTube. More than likely people will jump into this and decide, right, I'm going to put in my capital into whatever it is. So let's say they're putting in their $5,000 into it. They set themselves a range, something like that, and then they turn around and thinking, wow, I'm unreal. I'm going to be earning an APY of 8,000% nearly, and it is just going to just pump. I'm going to be rich. The problem is, the likes of these tokens, you're going to go out of range probably really, really quickly. And if you don't get into them at the right time, you will end up getting wrecked. So I just wanted to kind of showcase that is the normal of what most people do. They jump into a farm, jump into a position and not really understand it properly, and in turn pretty much just ends up crucifying them, and they lose everything they got into it. So I think having some sort of plans in place for farming tokens like this, blue chip assets where you're happy to kind of hold with wrapped ETH, obviously in this case you're getting 132%, 40% range. You can even make it safer if you wanted it. You can nearly go to 50%, and again, you're still on 100% of an APR. Now, this will fluctuate. Obviously, at the moment, the prices are kind of down, so markets APRs tend to pump up a little bit, and then obviously as the markets start to bust again, APRs drop a little bit again. But as I said, there's a lot to be said for in a position, having a strategy, having a goal in mind. And I know personally for me, this has helped me massively in crypto and in yield farming. I did that for too long, jumped into different positions like this, jumping all over the place, trying to chase yield, end up getting wrecked every single where. And it's only when you start to build out a system, build out your own strategy, and pretty much have a system in place is where you actually start making income, I suppose, semi-passive income, I suppose, within yield farming. So again, if you're interested in doing it, I have a group, literally just started it. I go do weekly calls, do 2 calls a week actually at the moment. We do deep dives, we do just general crypto chats, and it's a founders rate at the moment. If you're interested in joining, just join away. And any questions you get them asked there, work together as a community, as a team, and pretty much bring everyone along in the crypto and DeFi yield farming journey. So look, I just wanted to leave it there. Hopefully shed some light on helping you understand a bit more of it. Hopefully it helps you kind of realize what the potential is. I think that's the key thing I want to get across, is the potential here of what yield farming can do for you. And I know it's done that for me, and I pretty much want to showcase how it can be done for everyone else and avoid all the potential pitfalls. So look, we're going to leave it there. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope everyone has a great day.